Hey folks, Sandal Pipe here, and I have a few things to show you. And I think I'm going to split this off into two videos. This one will be about my pipes for the 2013 Chicago Pipe Show, wearing white gloves to keep fingerprints off. The next video, I will update you on what in the world I've been up to for the last several months. So, without further ado, here is pipe numero uno. This is a Lovat, and here it is. A very, very deep and craggy sandblast. This is not a rustication, using some Algerian briar, and that briar just does amazing with these really craggy blasts. It's a really long shank. The whole pipe is, let me check, 6.5 inches long. Smooth chamber, and you're not going to be able to see the drilling, but it's good drilling. My normal stamp, an Amboina burl stem insert, and a nice integral tenon. There we go. So this is pipe number one that will be for sale at the Chicago Pipe Show in 2014. Number two is this one. This is a pinched brandy, and the reason I call it a pinched brandy we'll see in a minute. Cumberland stem, once again, the aged Algerian briar. This time it came out smooth. And pinched is because right here towards the shank, the shank gets thinner towards the bowl and looks pinched, but from the side it doesn't look pinched at all, except for you can see in the reflection. The reflection just does look different. And the reason for that is I'd wanted to do a taper and the stem here to make it nice and comfortable, and to make that look good, I made the taper happen in the shank as well. Nice thin bowl. This pipe weighs only an ounce and has some really nice bird's eye. Nice and shiny. So this is pipe number two that will be available at the Chicago Pipe Show. I sincerely hope that you were able to make it. I will look forward to seeing Arista Cobb and Northern Bohemian and Walt Kanoy and a whole bunch of other people. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I don't want to be here all day mentioning names, because there are a lot of people that I want to see. Pipe number three. Yes, I make all of these cigar boxes into pipe boxes, and this is how they look. Lift it out without dropping the pipe out. And that's just my touch. I think it looks classy. I don't remember that I've showed this before, but I may have. You've probably seen it on Instagram or Facebook. And this one is my first father grade pipe. Excellent bird's eye that turned out just beautifully. Even stain all the way around. Very nice bowl. Boxwood shank extension. Thin ebonite stem. And bounce, bounce, bounce. Nice, smooth and shiny shank face. And an equally smooth and shiny tenon. Integral tenon once again. This one is actually surprisingly light. It only weighs 1.3 ounces. So these are all pretty light so far. This is a father grade, and what that means is simply that I think it is some of the best work that I will do all year. It will be hard for me to produce the beauty. Obviously the smoking quality isn't going to be any different on any of my pipes. It's just engineering is going to be consistent. It's the aesthetics that are going to differ based on the briar. And last, and certainly not least, here we go. This is the pièce de résistance, as I'm dismantling my case. Here is a pipe that took a very long time for me to make. A brindle stem, German ebonite with a pattern on it. German ebonite shank cap. And this is Mimo briar. The other three were all Algerian, and this one is Mimo. And the reason I chose Mimo for this isn't because one briar is better or worse than the other. It's simply because I had Mimo briar that fit the shape, and I didn't have Algerian that did. For John Leone on Facebook, YouTube, I had made a twisted horn last year on a special commission to commemorate his late wife, and the pipe was very difficult to make with curves inside of it. And over the past year, I've been thinking about it, contemplating doing it again, but it's so much work and so much can go wrong before it finishes that I decided I wasn't going to make one until my wife kept pushing and pushing and saying, "Jeremiah, you need to make this pipe." So finally, with a lot of encouragement from my wife, I decided to make one, and I didn't want to do exactly the same, simply because I felt there was room for improvement on the original design. So the changes, the last one did have a shank cap, but the shank cap on the last one had a twist that continued all the way through the stem. Well, I couldn't think of a good way to conclude that twist, so I decided the best way to do it was to make it look like flower petals. So here you have 6 flower petals, and all of these surfaces are concave all the way to the end, which is incredibly difficult. If it was difficult before, it's even more difficult now. And then all of these surfaces, including the stamped area here, are concave. And then I repeated that line here on the rim, and these surfaces as well are concave. So coming down from this part into this part here, that's all inside. The rim mirrors that, so each part here has a concave structure that comes out into the fans, the fins, and then a hump in between each, so the top looks like a flower petal as well. Fairly deep chamber. It's just over 2 inches deep. And in order to make this part work, I needed to have some free area in the middle. So I made a second mortise inside of the ebonite. And so this looks a little bit funny, but it has a good reason. This part actually is the tenon, and this part is just adding a little bit of stability into this mortise. I didn't want to have a 2-inch long tenon unless somebody break it off. So that's how this pipe works. As you can see, it tapers down to a very thin mouthpiece. This pipe also will be for sale at the Chicago Pipe Show, and it won't be cheap, simply because I don't want to make a lot of them, and if I make them cheap, everybody will want one, and if everybody wants one, I will feel compelled to make them. So I'm going to make the price expensive, simply because they are a lot of work, and I don't want to do them all the time. But I very much appreciate the beauty of this piece, and hope that you do too. Thank you for watching this long ramble, and I hope that you'll come back for the next episode, in which I will tell you what has been going on for the last couple of months. Thank you very much, and we'll talk with you next time.